Well, hello everyone, this is Rick Passek, the FlyFish Fanatic, and welcome to my tying bench. Today I'm going to be doing a request from one of my viewers, Rob Watson out of Kelowna, BC. He asked me to do my version of a 52 Buick. That being said, I'd probably tie 4 or 5 different versions and different colors, but fur in my glasses. So today I'm going to tie probably a little bit more of a classic one, but at the end I'll show you guys a couple of my other alternates that I use. So alrighty, let's get her going. So the 52 Buick is probably one of my favorite searching patterns. Really love this pattern for using at new lakes and stuff like that. When I'm trolling around looking for structure and what's hatching and that kind of stuff. I usually don't troll a lot, but that's the one time I do. So starting off in the vise with a Hends BL700 or any other whatever brand of streamer hook you like. And a size 8 through 12 is usually what I tie. For the thread, be using some Semperfli Nanosilk in olive. For the tail and for the throat, I'll be using some Mallard flank in Woodduck color. In the rib, I will be using some French oval tinsel, small gold by Semperfli. For the abdomen area, I'll be using some Peacock Herl. And then for the main body, I'll be using some Hends Gleamy. I use the Spectra, and I also use a, do I have it out here? No, I don't. Oh, yes, I do. This is the one I really like, is the Arizona Semi-Seal, but I don't have very much left, and I want to save this for a certain other pattern that I tie. So I'll tie this with the Gleamy, which is just as good. The Semperfli Semi-Seal is excellent as well. The only problem with that is it's got really long fibers, so you just got to make sure you work that into the thread properly. Excellent for leeches, that stuff, but for this I prefer a shorter fiber. So okay, so start my thread as always. I want to go back to about just before the bend of the hook, about where the barb would be, so about there, and I'm going to just create a bump with my thread. All this is going to do is help hold my tail up. I don't want this to foul, right? So I'm going to take my Mallard flank, and I'm going to get what I think I would like for a tail, about like that much. Line up the tips, pull it off of the feather, and there's what I'd like for the tail. Now my body is going to end about there, so that's about how much of a tail I'd like. So I'm going to put that right about there. So I'm just going to switch that over to my other finger, go back to my bump, and then I'm going to loose pinch wrap right at my finger. Okay, and then I want to make sure this stuff stays right up on top. Now sometimes with this, well actually this one does. So you see this has got quite the curve. You want that curve going up. If it's gonna curve, this one isn't. It's laying down nicely. This stuff is this big feather is a little webbier than the rest of the package, right? If it's not as webby or oily, if you want to call it that, then it'll have a direction. So make sure that you get that facing upwards. Okay, so now make sure that's all tied down well. I'm going to get my tinsel, clean up my end here. Try not to let it go. Tie that into my side. It really doesn't matter where it's tied in, but just something I've gotten used to always tying in on my side, unless if it calls for the other side. Okay, so now just waxy. Depending on the material you're using, you can do a dubbing loop here, you can do whatever you like. I'm just going to hand dub this on, and I like hand dubbing when I dub other than a leech or something like that, stuff that I've do a lot of. I like dubbing in stages. Leeches, like micro leeches and stuff that I do a ton of. I know pretty well how much material I need for each fly. This I like building as I go here, right? So that way you don't put on too much material and don't have to pull stuff off and don't waste stuff, right? And you just got your the right taper and the right thickness, and right. Dub knot just a bit better. Tighten that up. Go back over top a bit. Back over top. Tighten that down a bit. Going over top of your, I know a lot of people are taught in their beginner tying classes not to go over top of your dubbing, but sometimes it's actually good. It'll help hold it even better. So now it's a little long for my taste, some of this stuff, so I'm just gonna just clean that up a bit. You don't want too spiky of a body here, right? That's why, like I said, that Semperfli semi-seal is great stuff, but for this one I don't like it. So just now, 1, 2, 3, 4 turns. Rip that off. Okay, now I'm going to take some more of that Mallard and come here to the top of the feather, and again I'm going to line up my tips. It's a little bit too much. Line up my tips, tear that off, and then I'm going to roughly figure out a length about there, so that's where I'll pinch it, and then I'll a couple of loose wraps, then I'll make sure this feather's on the bottom. Okay, and then turn it over, make sure and it's not, so there, I'll just give it a bit of a twist, make sure it's right on that bottom, then pinch it again and just wrap it up, make sure it's nicely down there. Okay, now take, again, depending on the thickness and the quality of your Peacock, take 2 to 3. I'm going to take 2 in this case here. Actually, I'm going to take 3. I'm not liking these. This one's here, so I'll take 3 just to give it a little bit more bulk. That's all it's doing. Okay, and then I'm going to tie this in right from the front by the eye all the way back. Okay, and then what I like doing is just giving it a wax, and then taking all 3 of these, and I'm going to just twist them around my thread. Now the other way you can do it is just put a dab of crazy glue on there and then wrap it, but okay. So that's on. This gives you just a bit more strength. Now you see I'm going over top a few times there. I want to build up a bit of a bulk there. So now when I get there and I know that's where I'd like to be, I'm going to tie that off. Tie that off. Sorry about my fingers. Okay, then I'm going to do a bit of a whip finish before I cut them off. This is Nanosilk, so it is a little bit sharper, if you want to call it that. It's not just thinner, right? So it can have a tendency of cutting, so just got to be careful with it. Cut that off. Take some Sally Hansen's. Put some Sally's right on your thread. Get right in there. 4-turn whip finish, and your fly is done. Now just double check, make sure everything's sitting where you like it. You can always just give it a bit of a, but that is it. That is your semi-classic 52 Buick. Okay, so another one I like tying is this one. This is with the another Hens one, the Gleamy. No, not the Gleamy, the Spectra. So this is with the Spectra. It's got a little bit more shine to it, a little bit more oomph to it, right? So, and then probably my favorite is this one here. This is probably my favorite 52 Buick that I tie. And it's just because it's just got a little bit more oomph, right? A little bit more brightness to it, a little bit more attractiveness. And this is just using the Semperfli fluorescent chartreuse floss as a rib, right? But I like these really buggy. And like I said, they're probably one of my favorite searching patterns when I'm new to a lake or new to a system that I don't know what's going on, and I want to go and search for, mainly search for structure and hatches, right? So, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, that was a request from a user, Rob out of Kelowna. So, thanks, Rob, for requesting that, and hope you guys enjoyed that. And yeah, please subscribe if you have not, and give her a thumbs up. Make some comments, ask for some patterns, and I'll do exactly this. Tie lines, everyone.